Age is just a number, a quote we've heard numerous times with many different connotations. Its origins are unknown, but its message is clear. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, the thing that matters is your mindset, your outlook on life, your vitality. Many would say this is utterly false. However, now, I think it's beginning to come true. Young people are everywhere, and they could start at age 65. I believe that youth doesn't mean how old or young a person is, rather one's health, positivity, and energy. When I look around, the people surrounding me seem to be a variety of looks and ages. On the tennis court, at holiday destinations, on the beach, exercising in the early morning. I certainly don't see what many of you might consider to be young people. In fact, I would suggest that the majority of people at a ski resort or jogging at the waterfront at 6 a.m. are over 50. 2020 was a questionable year, but we saw even more development, inventions, changes, and empowerment when it came to our elderly population. Recently, Joe Biden celebrated his 78th birthday, meaning he will be the oldest ever president of the United States when he's inaugurated. Elderly people can be leaders. Not only that, but they can create just as much global change as those of us young in age. Earlier this year, 99-year-old war veteran Tom Moore raised over £32 million for NHS charities walking laps of his garden. Elderly people can impact the world. The list definitely doesn't stop there. They can also stay alive and healthy for an extremely long time too. In 2021, we're seeing more longevity than ever before. A person who probably first came to your mind is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, now 94 years old, the oldest monarch in the world. Now, if you're a conspiracy theorist and you believe that Her Majesty the Queen is immortal, I dare say you're incorrect. But who's to say that we won't be immortal one day? In the book Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari, he says, "Death is just a technical problem. Equality is out, but immortality is in." Harari describes death as a somewhat simple, solvable technical problem caused by other little technical problems. The heart stops pumping because not enough oxygen reaches the muscle. Cancerous cells spread because of a genetic mutation that rewrote their instructions. Nothing metaphysical about it. All we have to do to solve death is to find a technical solution. I don't believe that humans will become immortal, anytime soon or at all, but there's no doubt in my mind that elderly people can be just as fit, vital, and youthful as us teenagers. Life expectancy has almost doubled since the 20th century, and healthcare has improved massively. Older people couldn't see as well, but now we have the cataract surgery. If their hearing has deteriorated, they can now get amazing hearing aids. Heart not functioning properly? An angioplasty, or a pacemaker to help maintain the flow of blood. If their kidney isn't up to standard, we have dialysis. Humans are inching towards becoming machine-like, with spare parts at the ready if needed. Elderly people can be in apparent perfect health, and that makes them just as impactful to society as the younger generations. I had the privilege of interviewing Michael Arthur, a 74-year-old criminal barrister in Hong Kong. He has likely prosecuted and defended more murder trials in Hong Kong than anyone alive. I was curious as to whether having a stereotypically taxing, rigorous, and focused career meant that one misses out on one's so-called youth when one is actually young, and then actually has time to have fun, relax, and take up new hobbies after one's career peaks, allowing one to really become more youthful as one ages. Mike started pursuing law at 25 and said that he'd always wanted to become a lawyer. However, he didn't feel like he missed out on any fun or youth when he was studying, and actually felt like he could have had more fun and studied harder. He did tell me, though, that he thought one of the key things in life is to always have fun if possible. Even serious cases have been fun for him, and there was always a moment after the courtroom when he talked with judges afterwards. The courtroom of a murder case is intense and important. It might be logical to think that a young barrister, with a fresh mind, would be better suited to this type of case. So I asked Mike whether he thought there was a benefit to being young in a courtroom, or in a murder courtroom specifically. He told me what he thought was most important. Its vitality. Not the age, the vitality. Of course, there is stress in murder cases, and you must deal with that stress by being vital, both physically and mentally. Mike also told me that young barristers and older barristers have different goals. When you are young, you are gaining experience, and when you are older, you develop your experience, which equips you better for the courtroom. But he didn't know whether a barrister's job were to be much different if one were older or younger. He did say, however, that young practitioners nowadays seem to work a lot harder than he used to. I asked Mike about his hobbies and how he spends his time to keep himself fit for the courtroom, and whether as he's got older he's had the chance to take up something new, or return to something that he did before he became a lawyer. He said that he concentrated on fitness to keep vital, and he read a lot to relax, specifically poetry, and that has sustained him and become a habit since he was young. Lastly, I asked Mike whether he thought that aging has allowed him to become more youthful in spirit. He said, "Yes, I think it does." Although aging can be viewed as a solemn thing, family and friends helped to keep him grounded. He actually liked aging from that point of view because now he has experience and understands more about people and everything around him, which allows him to retain his youth. He has remained youthful, even though he's become older. The answers that I received from Mike might not have been necessarily what I thought, the stereotype that I outlined previously. But it did confirm something else I phrased, that mindset is more important than age. You can become elderly but still be enthusiastic, keen, light-hearted, active, full of life, full of youth, youthful. We've reached a point in time where elderly people aren't frail, or the wilted people sitting at home, knitting, moving slowly from place to place with a cane or Zimmer frame. They're lawyers, athletes, teachers, judges, journalists, monarchs, leaders. They're all members of our youthful population today.